Hey, I'm Pascal from Orange Pixel, and I'm not sure if I can show you this. Email from Nintendo. It's one of these days that nothing goes as planned or as you like to have it go. Does that make sense? Just trust me. I had to upload a new build of Meganoid for Switch release because they ran into something where you could play the game with just one of the Joy-Cons horizontally, and I told them that's not really how we want it to be played, and I also flagged the game for not being able to be played like that, but they said, well, it works, so you should just change the instructions on the screen. We tried that, we looked into it, but we just don't want the player to be playing with one of the Joy-Cons. So now we disabled it on the game end, and hopefully that works, and I had to resubmit it, and that's gonna take another couple of days, up to a few weeks. And the site for Nintendo's developer backend isn't the quickest from all the sites, or maybe that's just because it's in Japan and slow connection, I don't know, but it's a very slow process. So while doing that, I decided I could push a new update for Space Grunts 2 to the App Store, and I did a couple of days ago, but I had to fix and change a couple of other things. So I pushed it, but Apple decided to completely redo their website for developers, the backend, because they're having an event this week, I think. So they changed everything, and it looks much better and much more up to date, except there's one button missing, and that's the button that actually connects the new build, the new version, to the App Store and sends it for review. So I can't push a new version because Apple broke something on their website, and I can't contact them because it's very difficult to do. So I hope they'll fix it soon. For now, I just keep refreshing the page, hope somebody notices it and fixes it, but no luck so far. So this is becoming a very terrible day on the update apartment. And some days those type of things can really get to you, but today I'm not getting bothered by it at all. I don't really care. I'm in one of those moods that I don't care. And that's really what this video is going to be about. I don't really care today. So after the intro, I won't be caring at all. See you after the intro. Alright, so it's one of those days that nothing goes as planned, and I'm not really in the mood to do anything at all, and sometimes that's just something you have to go with. I often get the question, how do you keep motivated? How do you keep working on stuff and keep yourself being productive? There are two sides to that. One, if you're not feeling it, just power through and just go for it. Put yourself to work and find tasks that you can do and just slowly get into the thing that you should be doing. That's what I usually do, but sometimes it's just a lot easier to just go with it and don't be productive. Just take a day off, do something else, do something different. Give your brain and your fantasy and your creative spirit some freedom, and just go with it. And today I also wasn't in the mood to work on Residual. I've been pushing myself very hard to get this Residual demo out for the Steam Game Festival, which was last week. That worked, the game was there, the demo was there, it's playable, it's far from done, but I've been working on a bunch of features and things that I don't really like to add until I'm much further in the game development process, but it had to be done because we're showing it to people and they're gonna have opinions, and that's what happened, and that's probably the reason I don't really want to work on the game right now. I'm just a bit tired. I had this deadline, I worked towards it, and then you get this little relief and a little break, and you need to grab those little breaks because you can't push yourself always. Alright, so I did do some stuff on Residual, but I'm not gonna talk about it this week. Next week will be another devlog, and I'm also trying to decide what I want to do with Residual, because obviously the scope of this game is growing and it's gonna be bigger than I wanted. But besides that scope, it's also gonna be the summer months, and like last year I explained it, releasing something in July or August, not very smart because most people are doing other things. Although this year we have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm not sure where everybody's spending their summer vacation, if any vacations, but I'm not gonna gamble on that. I think July and August is just not the best time to release a game. So the earliest I'm gonna release Residual is September. I have been thinking about maybe doing a Kickstarter, but that also makes me extremely nervous just thinking about it. But on the other end, it might work, it might be interesting. So I am still thinking about that. So Let me know what you think about Kickstarters, if you have any experience with them, running them. Give me some pointers and some tips, because I've never done a Kickstarter and I have no idea what to expect from it. All right, and I've also been thinking about doing a Gunslux prototype, or start something smaller and just fun, just to work on in between residual work. But it's gonna be either something like Gunslux, trying to recreate the original Gunslux, but in a more modern way, and forget about the whole Gunslux Rogue Tactics last year, even though I think the game is still great. It probably moved too far away from what Gunslug was in the original game. So if I do another Gunslug, it's going to be more like part 1 and less like part 3. I also thought about doing Heroes of Loot, but I actually have some graphics lying around already and did a lot of work for that before I started Residual. Just not sure. That's not going to be a small game, so I'm not going to start it while doing Residual, because then I have 2 big games and there's already so much stuff going on with Switch releases, Residual, a couple of other things that will be announced pretty soon that have my games, and I've been contacted by some companies that want interesting stuff happening, which is also something I can't talk about just yet, but if I can, as soon as I can, you're gonna hear it. Okay, so one thing I can tell you is I've been finally learning Instagram, or I think I'm getting better at it. If you've been following this channel for a while now, I have been struggling with Instagram for a couple of years. At the beginning of a year, I really start and post stuff and things like that, but usually after 2, maybe 3 months, I completely forget Instagram existed. But I've been on it, I've been using it a lot more, I've been following people and interesting things, and I finally figured out how to do stories, and I also figured out how that really adds to the content I put out. So there's a lot of stuff during a week that I want to record and could be interesting video material, just not for a full YouTube video. And those type of things I now put in my stories. It's very raw, it's unedited, it's just spur of the moment and put it out there, and it's gone within 24 hours, so it doesn't clutter my feed. And even if I'm recording some random thing like a bird flying by, it isn't really suited for the timeline of Orange Pixel, but it can be put in a story in an interesting way. So I finally figured out how to do stories on Instagram. And I also came up with a little trick for my Instagram feed. So I decided a couple of categories for my pictures, and I just alternate between those. So one picture is a screenshot, or maybe just some pixel art that I drew for one of my games. The other category is actually a photo of hardware running my game. So either my laptop in my office, or maybe me holding a Switch or whatever. It's the hardware running a game. And the other category is just me, so that people know my games, what it can be run on, and who's creating the games. And that's going to be filling up my timeline. So having these categories really give me something to grab on when I want to post something. And there are still days that I don't post anything, but I'm posting a lot more, and we're halfway into the year and I'm still posting on Insta, I'm still using it, and I actually gained followers. So I think I'm finally slowly getting the grips with Insta. So that's probably the cue for everybody else to stop using it at all and move to something else like TikTok. Not going there, not doing TikTok, no, I'm not gonna do TikTok, no. So that's it for this week's video. Even if I'm not working, I guess I'm still working and doing stuff on social media, and that's all marketing for my games and for me. And it's pretty cool that we can do all these things, and you don't need a lot of special tools. It's just you need a lot of time and a little bit of knowledge, but knowledge grows and eventually you'll get good at things, I hope. Let me know what you think about this video. If you just came to this channel for the first time, sorry there wasn't a lot of programming or game talk or anything. Normally I do a lot more game talk and I show you a lot more about my games. This was just one of those days, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, almost forgot to tell you that the update I did for Space Grunts is to turn it from this into this. You can now play Space Grunts 2 holding your phone like this, and many players asked for it, and I have to admit I wasn't really sure if it would add anything to the game, but it does. It really plays very nice, because you can now just play with one hand, and everybody plays games these days doing other stuff as well. So this is it really plays very nice. So if you haven't tried Space Grunts yet, try it out now on iOS or Android or the Steam version. But the Steam version you can't really, well, you can rotate your PC screen I wouldn't do it on mobile. You can play it vertically. If you have tried it, try it again, because since release it doubled in size and features and stuff, and it's just go ahead and try it. And now I'll see you next week. Bye. Easy to sit on the couch and just a message from my wife. It's just fun to play it like this.